Yes, good evening, and come on in, USA, Canada, International, Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the 5 spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. Welcome, everybody. This is your man G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, YouTuber, host with the most, misunderstood lonely nomad, um, unstoppable independent podcaster, live streamer, of course, content creator, and rookie podcaster of Lawrence and Queens, New York. And you're rocking and hanging out with the 114th episode of Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast Review Show. Live and direct from StreamYard alongside with YouTube. And next to me is the Instagram live feed of the podcast show page. Make sure you turn on your notifications on the grams so you can be reminded of when I'm going to be on Instagram live recording weekly episodes and when they are going to drop. And if there's any changes, I'll let you know about it. First and foremost, if you'd like to support this show right here, you're more than welcome to actually do that. So, you're more than welcome to support this show and the other podcast shows that I do on a weekly basis by going to my Cash App, which is G Money Stacks 555. That's $ capital G, lowercase MONEY, capital S, lowercase TACKZ 555. Once again, it's not about breaking the bank. It's all about doing the best you can on whatever amount of money you choose to be comfortable with that you desire will be appreciated. And you can leave a 5-star rating on Podchaser alongside with Podfriend and of course Spotify as well. And and also, if you are new to the channel and you missed any previous episodes whatsoever, don't worry, I got you back. You can go grab that subscribe button for me on the Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast Review Show YouTube channel page. Tap on the notification and enable alerts so you can be reminded of when the show is going to start recording, live stream, and the time that is going to start. Leave a like and a comment along with the episodes and review topics. And also be sure to stay tuned for more video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes, and of course, including downloading these episodes, which is very important. Be sure to listen, stream, watch these episodes in case you miss any of them. You can catch up to the episodes on the ones you missed. And also, be sure to share the videos, share the episodes, especially on Spotify, especially on any other streaming platforms that we'll go over at the end of the show. Tell a friend to another friend and all that great stuff right there. And of course, word of mouth is important by spreading the word to everybody. Anyway, all right, without further ado, today's episode we're going to be reviewing the franchise of the Toy Story franchise. And yes, the Toy Story franchise is what we're going to be going to do today. And yes. And yes, I do remember yes, I do remember. But yes, so the Toy Story franchise and Lightyear. So, Without further ado, um, hang on a second here. Just give me a moment. Give me a moment here. Sorry, sorry about that, folks. I had to lower it because of the planes that's flying by and stuff. So, all right, so here we go. Here we go. Um, all right, we're gonna get into the chillax, the chillax man cave popcorn lounge segment. Here we go. Okay, y'all know the deal. For all you new listeners out there that is wondering what the Chillax Man Cave Popcorn Lounge is about, it's a segment where I go over the movies and stuffs. And since today we're going to be reviewing the Toy Story franchise and of course Buzz Lightyear, the movie that also came out. Um, so we're gonna get into it right here. So let's yeah, we're gonna get into it right here. All right. Okay. All right. Here's the first movie. All right. So, Toy Story is a 1995 American computer animated comedy film directed by John Lasseter. In its featured directorial debut, produced by Pixar Animation Studios, and released by Walt Disney Pictures. The first installment in the Toy Story franchise, it was the first entirely computer animated feature film, as well as the first feature film from Pixar. It was written by Josh Whedon, Andrew Stanton, Joe Cohen, and Alec Sokolow, from a story by Lasseter, Stanton, Pete Docter, and Joe Rent. The film features music by Randy Newman. That fucking name always comes up all the time. Oh my gosh, man. Oh shit, it's so funny. Um yes, was produced by Bonnie Arnold and Ralph Guggenheim and was executive produced by Steve Jobs, late great Steve Jobs, and Edwin Catmull. The film features the voices of Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Don Rickles, Jen Varney, Wallace Shawn, John Ratzenberger, Annie Potts, Arlie Army, John Morris, Laurie Metcalf, and Eric Von Detten. Hold on. All right. Yeah, where was I? Yes. So let's see. Let's see. Taking place in a world where toys come to life when humans are not present, the plot of Toy Story focuses on the relationship between an old fashioned pull string cowboy doll named Woody and a modern space cadet action figure Buzz Lightyear. As Woody develops jealousy towards Buzz when he becomes their owner, Andy's favorite toy. Following the success of Tin Toy, a short film that was released in 1988, Pixar was approached by Disney to produce a computer animated feature film that was told from a small toy's perspective. Lasseter, Stanton, and Doctor wrote early story treatments, which were rejected by Disney, who wanted the film's tone to be edgier. After several disastrous story reels, production was halted and the script was rewritten to better reflect the tone and theme Pixar desired. Toys deeply want children to play with them, and this desire drives their hopes, fears, and actions. The studio, then consisting of a relatively small number of employees, produced Toy Story under only minor financial constraints. Toy Story premiered at the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles, California, United States on November 19th, 1995, and was released in theaters in North America on November the 22nd of that year. It was the highest grossing film during its opening weekend, eventually grossing over $373 million worldwide, making it the second highest grossing film of 1995. Wow. All right, hold on. The film received critical acclaim and holds a 100% approval rating on Rotten Tomatoes. It was praised for the technical innovation of the 3D animation, screenplay, musical score, and vocal performances, particularly Hanks and Allen. It is considered by many to be one of the best animated films ever made. The film received the three Academy Award nominations: Best Original Screenplay, the first animated film to be nominated for this award, Best Original Song for You've Got a Friend in Me, and Best Original Score, as well as honoring a non competitive Special Achievement Academy Award. In 2005, hang on a minute, sorry. Sorry. Yes, in 2005, Toy Story was selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry by the Library of Congress as being culturally, historically, or aesthetically significant. One of seven films designated in its first year of eligibility. The success of Toy Story launched a multimedia franchise and a series of three sequels, starting with Toy Story 2, which will be the next film to review. The film had also had a theatrical 3D re-release in 2009 as a part of a double feature with the second film. A spin-off Lightyear was released in 2022 with Chris Evans voicing the in universe human Buzz Lightyear, who inspired the action figure toy line in the Toy Story films. Okay, so the budget for the film is $30 million, and in the box office, it made 39. Hold on, $394.4 million. Okay. All right. So let's get to the reception. Yes. So, before I go to the box office, let me give a shout out to the people that just came in. Okay. Shout outs to Radio Apprentice and Matthew Lawrence. I see y'all actually. Um, thank you for viewing this. And the films before the film's release, executive producer and Apple Incorporated co-founder late great Steve Jobs, stated, "If Toy Story is a modest hit, say $75 million at the box office, well, Pixar and Disney both break even. If it gets $100 million, we'll both make money. If it if but if it's a real blockbuster and it earns $200 million or so at the box office, well, we'll make good money, and Disney will make a lot of money." Yep, interesting. Yes, so um upon its release on November 22nd, 1995, Toy Story managed to gross more than $350 million worldwide. Disney chairman Michael Eisner stated, "I don't think either side thought Toy Story would turn out as well as it has. The technology is brilliant, the casting is inspired, and I think the story will touch a nerve. Believe me, when we first agreed to work together, we never thought their first movie would be our 1995 holiday feature or that they could go public on the strength of it." The film's first 5 days of domestic releases, especially on Thanksgiving weekend, um, earned earned it $39.1 million. Moreover, Toy Story earned a total of $158.6 million from ticket sales combined with the 5 day Wednesday opening. Oh wow. 5 day opening. Oh boy. 5 day opening. 5 day opening. Sorry. Hold on. It would go on to hold this record until Independence Day took it the next year. The film placed first in the weekend's box office with $29.1 million and maintained the number one position at the domestic box office for the next 2 weekends. Toy Story went on to become the highest grossing domestic film of 1995, beating Batman Forever, Apollo 13, which is what Tom Hanks starred in, Pocahontas, Casper, Waterworld, and GoldenEye. At the time of its release, it was the third highest grossing animated film of all time after The Lion King 1994 and Aladdin 1992. Um, Toy Story became the second highest grossing film of 1995, just $3 million behind Die Hard with a Vengeance. When not considering inflation, Toy Story is number 96 on the list of the highest grossing domestic films of all time. The film had gross receipts of $192.5 million in the US and Canada and $181.8 million in international markets from its original 1995 release and two re-releases for a total of 374 $374.4 million worldwide. At the time of its release, the film ranked as the 17th grossing film domestically and the 21st highest grossing film worldwide. All right. Okay, critical response. Toy Story has an approval rating of 100% based on 96 professional reviews on the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes, with an average rating of 9 out of 10. Its critical consensus reads entertaining as it is innovative. Toy Story reinvigorated animation while heralding the arrival of Pixar as a family friendly force to be reckoned with. Metacritic um, assigned Toy Story a score of 95 out of 100 based on 26 critics, indicating universal acclaim. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A on an A plus to F scale. Particular praise was offered for the film's 3D animation, and Leonard Clady of Variety commended its razzle dazzle technique and unusual look and said that the camera loops and zooms in a dizzying fashion that fairly takes one breath away. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times compared the animation to Disney's Who Framed Roger Rabbit, saying that both movies take apart the universe of cinematic visuals and put it back together again, allowing us to see in a new way. Due to the film's creative animation, Richard Corliss of Time claimed that it was the year's most inventive comedy. The voice cast was also praised by various critics. Susan um, of USA Today approved of the selection of Tom Hanks and Tim Allen for the lead roles. Let's call her Susan W. I can't pronounce the name, so I'm just going to call her Susan W. Hold on. All right, Susan W. Okay, so all right, Kenneth Turin of the Los Angeles Times stated that starting with Tom Hanks, who brings an invaluable heft and believability to Woody, Toy Story is one of the best voiced animated features in memory, with all the actors making their presence their presence is strongly felt. Hold on. Several critics also recognize the film's ability to appeal to various age groups. Owen Gleiberman of Entertainment Weekly wrote it has the purity of ecstatic freedom of imagination that's the hallmark of the greatest children's films. It also has the kind of spring loaded, elusive prankiness, no, excuse me, prankishness that at times will tickle, excuse me, adults even more than it does kids. In 1995, Toy Story was ranked eighth in Time's list of the best 10 films of 1995. In 2011, Time named it one of the 25 all-time best animated films. It also ranks at number 99 in Empire Magazine's list of the 500 greatest films of all time and as the highest ranked animated movie. In 2003, the the Online Film Critics Society ranked the film as the greatest animated film of all time. In 2007, the Visual Effects Society named the film 22nd in its list of the top 50 most influential visual effects films of all time. The film is ranked 99th on the AFI's list of the 100 greatest American films of all time. It was one of the only two animated films on that list. The other being Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, 1937. It also it was also the sixth best in the animation genre of AFI's top 10. Hold on. In more recent years, director Terry Gilliam has praised the film as a work of genius. It got people to understand what toys are about. They are true to their own character, and that's just brilliant. It's got a shot that's always stuck with me when Buzz Lightyear discovers he's a toy. He's sitting on this landing at the top of the staircase, and the camera pulls back, and he's this tiny little figure. He was this guy with a massive ego 2 seconds before, and it's stunning. I put that as one of my top ten films. Period. The film won and was nominated for various other awards, including a Kids' Choice Award, MTV Movie Award, and a British Academy Film Award, among others. John Lasseter received a Special Achievement Academy Award in 1996 for the development and inspired application of techniques that have made possible the first feature-length computer animated film. Additionally, the film was nominated for 3 Academy Awards, two to Randy Newman. Oh shit. Wow, that name is so fucking funny. I can't stop laughing, man. But hold on a sec. Yes, Randy Newman for Best Music Original Song for You've Got a Friend in Me, and Best Music Original Musical or Comedy Score. It was also nominated for Best Original Screenplay for the work by Joe Cohen, Pete Docter, John Lasseter, Joe Rant, Alex Sokolow, Andrew Stanton, and Josh Whedon, making it the first animated film to be nominated for an Academy Award writing category. Toy Story won 8 Annie Awards, including Best Animated Feature. Animator Pete Docter, director John Lasseter, musician Randy Newman, producers Bonnie Arnold and Ralph Guggenheim, production designer Ralph um Eggleston, and writer Joe Cohen, Alec Sokolow, Andrew Stanton, and Josh Whedon all won awards for Best Individual Achievement in their respective fields for their work on the film. The film also won Best Individual Achievement in Technical Achievement. Toy Story was nominated for 2 Golden Globe Awards, one for Best Motion Picture, Comedy, or Musical, and one for Best Original Song, Motion Picture for Newman's You've Got a Friend in Me. At both the Los Angeles Film Critics Association Awards and the Kansas City Critics Circle Awards, the film won Best Animated Film. Toy Story is also among the top 10 in the BFI list of the 50 films you should see by the age of 14. And the biggest, highest placed at number 99, animated film in Empire Magazine's list of 500 greatest movies of all time. In 2005, Toy Story, along with Toy Story 2, was voted the fourth greatest cartoon in Channel 4's 100 greatest cartoons poll behind The Simpsons, Tom and Jerry, and South Park. Well, and let's go to the impact and legacy behind this. So, Toy Story had a large impact on the film industry with its innovative computer animation. After the film's debut, various industries were interested in the technology used for the film. Graphics, chip makers desired to compute imagery similar to the film's animation for personal computers. Game developers wanted to learn how to replicate the animation for video games, and robotics researchers were interested in building artificial intelligence into their machines that compared to the film's lifelike characters. Various authors have also compared the film to an interpretation of Quixote as well as humanism. In addition, Toy Story left an impact with its catchphrase to infinity and beyond sequels and software, among others. In 2005, Toy Story was selected by the United States Library of Congress to be preserved in the National Film Registry for being culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant. Yes, to infinity and beyond. Yes. Buzz Lightyear's line to infinity and beyond has been used not only on theme merchandise, but among philosophers and mathematical theorists as well. In 2008, during STS 124, astronauts took an action figure of Buzz Lightyear into space on Space Shuttle Discovery as part of an educational experience for students while stressing the catchphrase. The action figure used for experiments in zero G. It was reported in 2008 that a father and son had continually repeated the phrase to help them keep track of each other while treading water for 15 hours in the Atlantic Ocean. The phrase occurs in the lyrics of Beyonce's 2008 song Single Ladies, Put a Ring on It. During the bridge in 2012, the late Capital Steez released a song titled Infinity and Beyond in reference to the phrase as part of his American um corruption no American corruption mixtape, excuse me. Disney also recycled the phrase to in homage to Toy Story at least twice. In in the blooper reel shown during the credits of A Bug's Life, Dave Foley says the line while in character as Flick, and Tim Allen himself repeated his famous line in The Shaggy Dog. In a scene when the titular character jumps off a bridge onto a moving vehicle. Um, Other influences: Toy Story's cast of characters forms the basis for the naming of the releases of the Debian computer operating system from Debian 1.1 Buzz. The first release with a code name in 1996 to Debian 11 Bullseye, the most recently announced future release. In 2013, Pixar designed a Gromit Lightyear sculpture based on the Aardman animations character Gromit for Gromit Unleashed, which sold for $65,000. All right, so we're gonna get into Toy Story 2. Um, don't worry about music Kool-Aid. We'll get to that after. Um, all right, so Toy Story 2 is a 1999 American computer animated film produced by Pixar Animation Studios for Walt Disney Pictures, the second installment in the Toy Story franchise and the sequel to Toy Story 1995. It was directed by John Lasseter, co-directed by Ash Brennan and Lee um, Unkrich, from a screenplay written by Andrew Stanton, Reader, um, Reader Ciel, Doug Chamberlain, and Chris Webb, from a story by Lasseter, Stanton, Brannon, and Pete Doctor. In the film, Woody is stolen by a toy collector, prompting Buzz Lightyear and his friends to rescue him. But Woody is then tempted by the idea of immortality in a museum. Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Don Rickles, Wallace Shawn, John Ratzenberger, Jim Varney, Annie Potts, R. Lee um, Army, John Morris, and Laurie McCaff. Yes. Um, reprised their roles from the first Toy Story film and are joined by um, Joanne Cusack, Kelsey Grammer, Estelle Harris, Wayne Knight, and Jodie Benson, who play the new characters introduced in the film. So for the budget is $90 million, and of course, let's get into this. Disney initially envisioned Toy Story 2 as a direct to video sequel. The film began production in a building separated from Pixar on a small scale, as most of the main Pixar staff were busy working on A Bug's Life 1998. When story reels proved promising, Disney upgraded the film to a theatrical release, but Pixar was unhappy with the film's quality. Lasseter and the story team redeveloped the entire plot in one weekend. Although most Pixar features take years to develop, the established release date could not be moved, and the production schedule for Toy Story 2 was compressed into 9 months. Despite production struggles, Toy Story 2 opened on November 24th, 1999 to wildly successful box office numbers, eventually grossing over $511 million. Wow. And it received widespread acclaim with a 100% rating on the website Rotten Tomatoes, like its predecessor. It is considered by to critics to be one of the few sequel films superior to the original, and is frequently featured on lists of the greatest animated films ever made. Toy Story 2 would go on to become the third highest grossing film of 1999, behind Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and The Sixth Sense. Among its accolades, the film won Best Motion Picture Musical Comedy at the 57th Golden Globe Awards. The film has seen multiple home media releases and a theatrical 3D re-release in 2009, excuse me, as part of a double feature with the first film. 10 years after its initial release, another sequel, Toy Story 3, was released in 2010, which will be the next film to talk about. Now as far as like, yeah, I'm not gonna, yeah, the video game, listen, I'll go over the video game section in a future episode, not today. Um all right, so let's go to the reception. Toy Story 2 was a successful as the first Toy Story film commercially. It became 1999's highest grossing animated film, earning $245.9 million in the United States and Canada and $511.3 million worldwide, beating both Pixar's previous releases by a significant margin. Ooh, margin. Okay. Um, it became the third highest grossing animated film of all time behind The Lion King and Aladdin. Toy Story 2 opened over the Thanksgiving Day weekend at number one to a 3-day tally of $57.4 million from 3,236 theaters, averaging um 17,734 per theater over 3 days, making $80.1 million since its Wednesday launch and staying at number one for the next 2 weekends. Mm. All right. At the time of the film's release, it had the third highest opening weekend of all time, behind The Lost World, Jurassic Park, and Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. It also broke the studio record for having the best single day gross, surpassing The Waterboy. On its third day of release, the film made $22.6 million, becoming the highest Friday gross at that time, beating The Lost World, Jurassic Park. For 2 years, it would hold this record until May 2001, when The Mummy Returns opened with $23.4 million. Um, the film also had the largest opening weekend for an animated film before being surpassed by Monsters Inc. that year. Moreover, the Toy Story 2 was ranked as the third highest 5-day Wednesday gross of any film, trailing only behind The Phantom Menace and Independence Day. The film even had the highest 5-day Thanksgiving opening weekend, beating out A Bug's Life. In 2013, The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Frozen both surpassed Toy Story 2 to have the largest Thanksgiving weekend debut. By New Year's Day, it had made more than $200 million in the US alone, and it eventually became 1999's third highest grossing film and far surpassing the original. Box Office Mojo estimates that the film sold over 47.8 million tickets in the United States and Canada. How about that? Okay. Um the film set a 3-day opening record in the United Kingdom, grossing $7.7 million and beating The Phantom Menace. In 2001, that record would be surpassed by Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. In Japan, Toy Story 2 earned $3.8 million in its opening weekend to not only become the country's highest grossing American animated film, but also the second largest opening weekend in the territory, behind Armageddon. Around this time, the film surpassed Twister to become the 17th highest gross the 17th highest domestic grosser. Following in biggest grosses are Italy, $6.9 million, France and the Maghreb region, $24.7 million, Germany, $12.9 million, and Spain, $11.7 million. Okay. All right. Critical response. Hold on. All right. Reviewers judged the film as a sequel that equaled or even surpassed the original in terms of quality. The Hollywood Reporter proclaimed in their statement, Toy Story 2 does what few sequels ever do. Instead of instead of essentially remaking an earlier film and deeming it a sequel, the creative team led by director John Lasseter delves deeper into their characters while retaining the fun spirit of the original film. On review aggregation website Rotten Tomatoes, the film has an approval rating of 100% based on 171 reviews, with an average rating of 8.7 out of 10. The site's critical consensus reads, the rare sequel that arguably improves on its predecessor, Toy Story 2 uses innovative storytelling, generous animation, and a talented cast to deliver another rich movie-going experience for all ages. Hold on. So the film is 69th on Rotten Tomatoes list of best rated films, and is the seventh best rated animated film. On Metacritic, the film has a score of 88 out of 100 based on 34 critics, indicating universal acclaim. CinemaScore reported that audiences had given the film a rare average grade of A plus on an A plus to F scale, making it the first ever computer animated film to receive this grade. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times gave the film 3.5 stars out of 4 and it said in his print review, in quote, I forgot something about toys a long time ago. And the Toy Story 2 reminded me. Kenneth Turan of the Los Angeles Times said Toy Story 2 may not have the most original title, but everything else about it is, well, mint in the box. Lisa Schwartzbaum of Entertainment Weekly said it's a great IQ flattering entertainment, both wonderful and wise. Upon seeing the film, animator Chuck Jones, director of the Looney Tunes shorts, wrote a letter to Lasseter calling the film wonderful and beautifully animated and telling Lasseter he was advancing the cause of classic animation in a new and effective way. Lasseter, a personal admirer of Jones, has the letter framed in his house. Now we go to the accolades. Okay, so Toy Story 2 received several recognitions, including the 7 Annie Awards, but none of them were previous nominations. The first went to Pixar for outstanding achievement in an animated theatrical feature. The Outstanding Individual Achievement for Directing in an Animated Feature Production award was given to John Lasseter, Lee Unkrich, and Ash Brennan. Randy Newman won an Annie Award for Outstanding Individual Achievement for Music in an Animated Feature Production. Joanne, no, Joan Cusack won the Outstanding Individual Achievement for Voice Acting by a female performer in an animated feature production, while Tim Allen for Outstanding Individual Achievement for Voice Acting by a male performer in an animated feature production. The last Annie was received by John Lasseter Pete Doctor, Ash Brennan, Andrew Stanton, Rita Cio, um, Doug Chamberlain, and Chris Webb for outstanding individual achievement for writing in an animated feature production. The film itself also won many awards, including the Blockbuster Entertainment Award for Favorite Family Film, um, Entertainment. No, excuse me, Internet Only. The Critics' Choice Award for Best Animated Film, the Bogey Award, and a Golden Globe Award for Best um, Motion Motion Picture, Musical Comedy, among with his other awards. Randy Newman, and his song "When She Loved Me" won a Grammy Award for Best Song Written for a motion picture, television, or other visual media. A Satellite Award was given for Outstanding Youth DVD and a Golden Satellite Award for Best Motion Picture, Animated, or Mixed Media, and one for Best Original Song, When She Loved Me. Okay. Okay, let's go to the okay, let's go to the accolades. Okay, so ASCAP Film and Television Music Awards. Randy Newman won for Top Box Office Films of 2000 award. And Randy Newman um got a nomination for Best Original Score for the Academy Awards when She Loved Me. Hold on. Okay, Saturn Awards. Um um Randy Newman got a nomination for Best Music, and Toy Story 2 got a nomination for Best Fantasy Film. And let's see what else. Annie Awards. Okay. So Helen Plotkin and Karen Robert Jackson won for animated theatrical feature. Doug Sweetland got a nomination for Outstanding Individual Achievement for Character Animation. And John Lasseter, Lee Unkrich, and Ash Brennan won for Outstanding Individual Achievement for Directing in an Animated Feature Production. Hold on. All right. All right. Where was I? Oh, Randy Newman. Once again. Oh shit! This is so fucking hilarious right here. Yeah, that name is so common in the Seinfeld days. Anyway, outstanding individual achievement for music in an animated feature production. William Cohn and Jim Pearson got a nomination for outstanding individual achievement for production design in an animated feature production. Let's see. Dan G Up and Joe Ranft um won for outstanding individual achievement for storyboarding in an animated feature production. And Joan Cusack also won for outstanding individual achievement for voice acting by a female performer in an animated feature production. And Tim Allen also won for outstanding individual achievement for voice acting by a male performer in an animated feature production. And John Lasseter, Pete Docter, Ash Brannon, Andrew Stanton, Rita Ciao, Doug Chamberlain, and Chris Webb also won for outstanding individual achievement for writing in an animated feature. And also, Toy Story 2 won for Best Family Film, Internet Only for Blockbuster Entertainment Awards. I can't believe that still exists, man. Um, and also Toy Story 2 won won the Bogey Award. They won a Bogey Award along with John Lasseter, Lee Unkrich, and Ash Brannon for Broadcast Film Critics Association Awards. Ruth Lambert got a nomination for Best Casting for Animated Voiceover Feature Film of Casting Society of America. And now we go to the Golden Globe Awards. Uh, so Toy Story 2 won for Best Picture, Musical, or Comedy. And Randy Newman again got a nomination for Best Original Song. And Toy Story 2 got a nomination for Favorite Movie. Tim Allen, Tim Allen and Tom Hanks got a nomination for favorite voice from an animated movie. MTV Movie Awards. Tim Allen and Tom Hanks got a nomination for Best On-Screen Duo. And Michael Silvers, Mary Helen Leesman, Shannon Mills, Teresa Acton, Susan Sanford, Bruce Lacey, and Jonathan Knoll got a nomination for Best Sound Editing Animated Feature for the Motion Picture Sound Editors. And of course, Bruno Kuhn and Lisa Jamie got a nomination for Best Sound Editing Music Animation. And of course, the Online Film Critics Society, Toy Story 2 got a nomination for Best Film. And of course, Andrew Stanton, Rita Ciao, excuse me, Rita Ciao, Doug Chamberlain, and Chris Webb got a nomination for Best Original Screenplay. And we go to the Satellite Awards. Hang on. Okay, so Toy Story 2 got a nomination for Best Motion Picture Animated or Mixed Media. Sarah McLachlan um got a nomination for Best Original Song. Okay, Toy Story 2 won for Best Family Feature Film Animated for the Young Artist Award. Randy Newman again. Best song written for a motion picture, television, or other visual media. He won that one. And Randy Newman again got a nomination for the Grammy Awards for Best Score soundtrack album for a motion picture, television, or other visual media. And of course, um, Riders in the Sky um, got a nomination for Best Country Performance by a duo or group with vocal. And yeah, and Toy Story 2 got a nomination for the satellite. No, it won the Satellite Awards for Outstanding Youth DVD 2 disc special edition. Okay, let's go to Toy Story 3. All right, so Toy Story 3 is a 2010 American computer animated comedy drama film produced by Pixar Animation Studios for Walt Disney Pictures. It is the third installment in the Toy Story series and the sequel to Toy Story 2, 1999. It was directed by Lee Unkrich, the editor of the first two films and the co-director of Toy Story 2, produced by Darla K. Anderson and written by Michael Arndt. While Unkrich wrote the story along with John Lasseter and Andrew Stanton, respectively, director and co-writer of the first two films. The film's assembled voice cast includes Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Joan Cusack, Don Rickles, Wallace Shawn, John Ratzenberger, Estelle Harris, Jeff Pigeon, Jody Benson, John Morris, Laurie McCalf, and R. Lee Army. In his final voice role as Sarge before his death on April 15, 2015. Damn. Reprised their roles from previous films. Jim Varney, who voiced Slinky Dog in the first two films, died on February 10th, 2000, 10 years before the release of the third film. So the role of Slinky was passed down to Blake Clark. The returning cast is joined by Ned Beatty, Michael Keaton, Whoopi Goldberg, Timothy Dalton, Kristen Shaw, Bonnie Hunt, and Jeff Garlin, who voiced the new characters introduced in the film. In Toy Story 3, Andy Davis Morris, now 17 years old, is going to college. Woody, Buzz Lightyear, and the other toys are accidentally donated to Sunnyside Daycare, a daycare center by Andy's mother, and the toys must decide where their loyalties lie. Wow. And the budget for this is $200 million. And it made 1.067 billion dollars. Okay. All right. So hold on. In 2004, following disagreements between Disney CEO Michael Eisner and Pixar CEO late great Steve Jobs, Disney planned to make Toy Story 3 at the new studio Circle 7 animation unit with the tentative theatrical release date in early 2008. The script was developed in multiple versions. However, after Disney bought Pixar in early 2006, the Circle 7 version of the film was canceled as the result of Circle 7's closure. The production was then transferred to Pixar, where a new script was developed. Randy Newman returned to compose the film's musical score. The film premiered at the Taormina Film Fest in Italy for June 12th, 2010, and was released in the United States on June 18th. Toy Story 3 was the first film to be released theatrically with Dolby Surround 7.1 sound. Like its predecessors, Toy Story 3 received critical acclaim upon release, with critics praising the vocal performances, screenplay, emotional depth, animation, and Newman's musical score. Oh boy. The film earned one point 1.067 billion worldwide, finishing its theatrical run as the highest grossing film of 2010. It is also the first animated film to reach $1 billion at the box office and was the highest grossing animated film of all time until the release of Frozen in 2013, and was Pixar's highest grossing film until the release of Incredibles 2 in 2018. Wow. Um with a budget of $200 million, Toy Story 3 is one of the most expensive films of all time. Organizations like the National Board of Review and the American Film Institute named it as one of the top 10 films of 2010. The film was nominated for 5 awards at the 83rd Academy Awards, winning 2 and received numerous other accolades. A sequel, Toy Story 4, which will be next, was released in 2019. How about that? Okay, we go to reception here. All right, so Toy Story 3 earned $415 million in the United States and Canada and $652 million in other countries for a worldwide total of $1.067 billion, becoming the highest grossing animated film of all time and the highest grossing film of 2010. It, on its first weekend, Toy Story 3 topped the worldwide box office with $145.3 million. That includes $153.7 million with weekday previews, the ninth largest opening weekend worldwide for an animated feature. Hold on. On August 27th, 2010, its 71st day of release, it surpassed the $1 billion mark, becoming the third Disney film, the second Disney distributed film in 2010, after Alice in Wonderland, the first animated film, and the seventh film in cinematic history to do so. Um, in North America, box office Mojo estimates that the film sold over 52 million tickets in the US. Toy Story 3 earned $41.1 million on its opening day, June 18, 2010, from 4,028 theaters. including $4 million at midnight shows from about 1,500 theaters, setting an opening day record for an animated film, which surpassed by millions and later Finding Dory. Hmm. um, Hold on. During its opening weekend, the film topped the box office with um $110.3 million, setting an opening weekend record among Pixar films. Released Films released in June surpassed by Man of Steel and later Jurassic World, and G-rated films surpassed by its sequels. Okay, where did I leave? Oh, okay. So the film also achieved the second largest opening weekend among animated films and the fourth largest opening weekend among 2010 films. Its average of $27,385 per venue is the second highest for a G-rated film and the third highest for an animated feature. Its opening weekend gross from Friday through Thursday of $167.6 million is the second largest among animated films, the second largest among 2010 films, and the 23rd largest of all time. It also achieved the largest 10-day gross among 2010 films. It topped the box office for two consecutive weekends. Outside of North America, Toy Story 3 topped the box office outside North America three times in its first $35 million second and sixth weekend, which was its largest. The highest grossing market after North America is Japan, $126.7 million, where it is the second highest grossing US animated feature behind Finding Nemo, followed by the UK and Ireland and Malta. Uh, $73.8 million, $116.6 million, where it is the ninth highest grossing film, and Mexico $59.4 million, where it is the second highest grossing film. It set opening weekend records for an animated films in Ecuador, Colombia, Mexico, China, Argentina, Hong Kong, Spain, and the UK. Its top international markets were the United Kingdom, 11.11, no, excuse me, $115.4 million, Australia, $32.8 million, and Brazil, $23.6 million. Hold on. Sorry for lowering the volume, folks. Because of the loud planes that's like flying around my crib and stuff. So that's why it's a little hard for me to concentrate on the recording. So anytime I hear it, I have to lower the volume. So I didn't forget any of y'all. So don't worry. Anyway, critical response on review aggregation website Rotten Tomatoes. The film has an approval rating of 98% based on 311 reviews, with an average rating of 8.9 out of 10. The site's critical consensus reads, in quote, definitely blending comedy, adventure, and honest emotion. Toy Story 3 is a rare second sequel that really works. Metacritic, another review aggregator, uh, which assigns a normalized rating to reviews, gave the film a score of 92 out of 100 based on 39 critics, indicating universal acclaim. Time named Toy Story 3 the best film of 2010, as did Quentin Tarantino until 2020, where the latter ranked fellow 2010 film The Social Network as the best film of the 2010s. In 2011, Time ranked the film at number 11 on their list of the 25 all-time best animated films. Audiences polled by Cinema Score gave the film an average grade of A on an A plus to F scale, the same score as the first film, but down from the A plus earned by the second film. A.O. Scott of the New York Times stated this film, this whole three-part 15-year epic about the adventures of a bunch of silly plastic junk, turns out also to be a long um melancholy melancholy meditation on loss, impermanence, and that noble, stubborn, foolish thing called love. Owen Gleiberman from Entertainment Weekly gave the film an A, saying, even with the bar raised high, Toy Story 3 enchanted and moved me so deeply. I was flabbergasted that a digitally animated comedy about plastic playthings could have this effect. Hold on. Gleiberman also wrote in the next issue that he, among with many other grown men, cried at the end of the film. Michael Wright Chafin of the Hollywood Reporter also gave the film a positive review, saying Woody Buzz and Playmates make a thoroughly engaging, emotionally satisfying return. Mark Kermode of the BBC gave the film the series a glowing review, calling it the best movie trilogy of all time. In USA Today, Claudia Puig gave the film a complete 4-star rating, writing, "This installment, the best of the three, is everything a movie should be: hilarious, touching, exciting, and clever." Lou Luminick of the New York Post wrote, "Toy Story 3, which is pointlessly being shown in 3D at the most locations, may not be a masterpiece, but it still had me in tears at the end." Michael Phillips of the Chicago Tribune gave the film 3 out of 4 stars, writing that compared with the richest of all kinds in recent Pixar masterworks such as Ratatouille, Wall-E, and Up, Toy Story 3 looks and plays like an exceptionally slick and confident product. As opposed to a magical blend of commerce and popular art. Roger Moore of the Orlando Sentinel, who gave the film 3.5 out of 4 stars, wrote dazzling, scary, and sentimental. Toy Story 3 is a dark and emotional conclusion to the film series that made Pixar famous. Yes. Um Kahir's Do Cinema put it at the fourth place of its top 10 best 2010 films. In 2018, um, IndieWire writers ranked the script the 10th best American screenplay of the 21st century. Accolades. So, at the 83rd Academy Awards, Toy Story 3 received nominations for Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, and Best Sound Editing, and won Best Animated Feature and Best Original Song. The film's other nominations include 3 Annie Awards, 3 British Academy Awards, winning one, five Critics' Choice Movie Awards, winning one, and a Golden Globe Award, which it won. It was named one of the 10 best films of 2010 by the National Board of Review, of course, where it also won Best Animated Film the and the American Film Institute. Okay, Iowa brothers Morgan and Mason McGrew. 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 Oh shit. Spent 8 years recreating the film in stop motion, titled Toy Story 3 in Real Life. The film was shot using iPhones and was uploaded to YouTube on January 25th, 2020. The shot for shot remake uses the film's original audio. According to Screen Crush, Pixar's parent company, Walt Disney Studios, gave the McGrews permission to release the film online. All right, on to Toy Story 4. On to Toy Story 4. Toy Story 4 is a 2019 American computer animated comedy drama film produced by Pixar Animation Studios and released by Walt Disney Pictures. It is the fourth installment in Pixar's Toy Story series and the sequel to Toy Story 3. It was directed by Josh Cooley from a screenplay by Andrew Stanton and Stephanie Folsom. The three also conceived the story alongside John Lasseter, Rashida Jones, Will McCormick, Valerie Lapointe, and Martin Hines. Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Annie Potts, John Cusack, Don Rickles, excuse me, Wallace Shawn, John Ratzenberger, Estelle Harris, Blake Clark, Jeff Pigeon, Bonnie Hunt, Jeff. I'm sorry. Oh, oh man. Yeah, Jeff Garland, Kristen Shaw, and Timothy Dalton reprised their character roles from the first 3 films and are joined by Tony Hale, Keegan Michael Key, Jordan Peele, Christina Hendricks, Keanu Reeves, and Ali Makey, who voiced new characters introduced in this film. Set after the third film, Toy Story 4 follows Woody and Buzz Lightyear as the pair and the other toys go on a road trip with Bonnie, who creates Forky, a, a sport made with recycled materials from her school. Meanwhile, Woody is reunited with Bo Peep and must decide where his loyalties lie. Oh boy. That sucks, man. And the budget for the film is $200 million. Yes. Okay. Hold on. All right, talks for a fourth film to Toy Story began in 2010, and Hanks stated that Pixar was working on the sequel in 2011. When the film was officially announced in November 2014 during an investors call, it was reported that the film would be directed by Lasseter, who later announced it would be a love story after writing a film treatment with Stanton and input from Pete Docter and Lee Unkrich, while Galen Sussman, was served as the producer. Hold on. Cooley was named co-director with Lasseter in March 2015, while Pixar president Jim Morris said it was not a continuation of the third film, who described the film as a romantic comedy. In July 2017, at the D23 Expo, Lasseter was stepping down and leaving Cooley as the sole director. New characters for the film were announced between in 2018 and 2019, along with new cast members. Composer Randy Newman returned to score the film, making his ninth collaboration with Pixar. The film is dedicated to Don Rickles, the voice of Mr. Potato Head, and animator Adam Burke, who died on April 6, 2017 and October 8th, 2018, respectively. Toy Story 4 premiered in Los Angeles on June 11, 2019, and was released in the United States on June 21st. It grossed $1.073 billion worldwide, becoming the eighth highest grossing film of 2019. Like its predecessors, the film received critical acclaim with praise for its story, humor, emotional weight, musical score, and animation, and vocal performances. The film was nominated for two awards at the 92nd Academy Awards, winning Best Animated Feature and received numerous other accolades. So a sequel is in development. Oh wow. They're really on a roll. They are on a roll. Wow. They are really on the roll, man. For real, for real. All right. Okay, box office. So so Toy Story 4 grossed $434 million in the United States and Canada, and $639.4 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $1.073 billion. It was the eighth highest grossing film of 2019. The film had a worldwide opening of $244.5 million, the third highest. No, the third biggest for an animated film. It crossed the billion-dollar mark on August 13th, 2019, becoming the 43rd film as well as the fourth Pixar film to ever do so. It was also the fifth film released by Disney in 2019 and sixth overall to cross the milestone, both records for a single year. Deadline Hollywood calculated the film's net worth profit as $368 million, accounting for production budgets, marketing, talent participations, and other costs. Box office grosses and home media revenues placed it sixth on their list of 2019's most valuable blockbusters. In the United States and Canada on May 28th, 2019, Toy Story 4 set the records on Fandango for most tickets sold by an animated film in its first 24 hours of pre-sales, besting Incredibles 2, while Tom Tickets reported it sold nearly 50% more than the previous three highest selling animated films combined did in their first day. Um, Includes Incredibles 2, Ralph Breaks the Internet, and Hotel Transylvania 3, and Summer Vacation. Released alongside Child's Play and Anna on June 21st, 2019. Toy Story 4 played in 4,575 theaters, the second most all time behind Avengers Endgame. Toy Story 4 made $47.4 million on its first day, including $12 million from Thursday night previews, the second highest amount for an animated film behind Incredibles 2. It went on to debut to 120.9 million dollars, although below projections. Executives at Disney were satisfied with the debut since it continued Pixar's remarkable consistency at the box office and showed proof of audience long-time love for the Toy Story franchise. Additionally, it was the best opening of the series, the biggest for a G-rated film, and the fourth highest of all time for an animated film. The film opened in the number one spot and retained the top position at the box office the following weekend, but it was dethroned by Spider-Man Far From Home in July. Its second weekend saw the box office drop by 51% to $59.7 million, and Toy Story 4 grossed another $34.3 million the following weekend. In August 2019, the film surpassed The Lion King 1984, $422 million, including re-releases, which held the title for the last 25 years. 1994 to 2003 and 2011 to 2019 to become the highest grossing G-rated film of all time domestically. It ended up being the fifth highest grossing film of 2019 in this region. In other territories, the film opened day and date with the U.S. in 37 countries, which includes 64% of its total market, and was projected to gross around $100 million abroad for a global debut of $260 million. In China, where the film opened alongside a re-release of Spirited Away, it was expected to debut to $15 to $20 million. Through September 2nd, 2019, the film's largest markets were Japan, $90.1 million, the United Kingdom, $79.9 million, the third highest all time for an animated film. Mexico, $72 million. Brazil, $32.5 million. France, $29.2 million. China, $29.1 million. Argentina, $28.9 million. Australia, $28.9 million. And South Korea, $24.7 million. Wow. All right, critical response. On review aggregation website Rotten Tomatoes, the film holds an approval rating of 97% based on 457 reviews with an average rating of 8.3 out of 10. The website's critics consensus reads, heartwarming, funny, and beautifully animated, Toy Story 4 manages the unlikely feat of extending and perhaps concluding a practically perfect animated saga. All right. All right. Where was I? Where was I? Where was I? Metacritic which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 84 out of 100 based on 57 critics, indicating universal acclaim. Audiences um, polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A on an A plus to F scale. And 89% of those at Post Track gave it a positive score, with 75% saying they would definitely recommend it. The film received a 4-star rating from Matt Zola Seist of RogerEbert.com, who wrote, this franchise has demonstrated an impressive ability to beat the odds and reinvent itself over a span of time long enough for 2 generations to grow up in. It's a toy store of ideas with new wonders in every aisle. The Washington Post's Anne Hornaday also gave the film 4 out of 4 stars and praised its visually dazzling concoction of wily schemes and daring adventures, as well as achieving a near perfect balance between familiarity and novelty, action and emotion, and joyful hellos and more bittersweet goodbyes. Peter DeBruge of Variety wrote, Toy Story ushered in an era of computer animated cartoon features, and the fourth movie wraps up the saga beautifully, at least for now. The Daily Telegraph's Robbie Collin wrote, Toy Story 4 reaffirms that Pixar at their best are like no other animation studio around. Writing for IndieWire, David Ehrlich gave the film a grade of B plus and wrote clever, breathless, and never manic just for the sake of keeping your kids' eyes busy. The action in Toy Story 4 is character driven and paced to perfection. Peter Travers of Rolling Stone, who gave the film 4.5 stars out of 5 stars, praised its visual pow, pinwheeling, fun and soulful feeling, and lauded the voice performance to Tony Hale as Forky. Joe Morgenstern of the Wall Street Journal said that the new film isn't flawless, but it's hugely enjoyable and speaks with bewitching but Buell Yancey to nothing less than the purpose of living and the mystery of life. While Peter Rayner of the Christian Science Monitor wrote that the film did not put him through enough, did not put him through the emotional ringer the way its predecessor did. He still gave it a grade of A minus and said it's consistently inventive, funny, witty, and heartfelt. In other words, it's a lot better than it has any right to be. It's more than good enough to justify its existence. Conversely, Kyle Smith of National Recall called the film the weakest effort in the series so far, finding its subject matter was unclear and the motives of the characters opposed and undermined the series' previous installments. He further critiqued the film for prioritizing its comedy while the story's underlying themes were tossed out haphazardly without much follow through, saying it may be an essential element of Disney's corporate strategy, but as a film, it's forgettable. And the accolades of at the 92nd Academy Awards, Toy Story 4 received a nomination for Best Original Song and won Best Animated Feature. The film's other nominations include 6 Annie Awards, a British Academy Film Award, a Critics' Choice Movie Award, which it won, and a Golden Globe Award. All right, so let's see the future of this. So the sequel in February 2019, Allen expressed interest in doing another film as he did not see any reason why they would not do it. That May, producer Mark Nielsen confirmed that after Toy Story 4, Pixar would return its focus to making original films instead of sequels for a while. On the Ellen DeGeneres show, Hanks said that Toy Story 4 would be the final installment in the franchise, but Nielsen discloses a possibility of a fifth film, uh, as Pixar was not ruling out that possibility. In February 2023, during an announcement of major layoffs at Disney, CEO Bob Iger also announced that the franchise would continue with a fifth film. Allen confirmed that he will return as the voice of Buzz in the sequel. A spin-off of the main series. Yes, I'm going to get to that in a second. Actually, I'm gonna get to that in a sec. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Let's see. Let me just get to Lightyear. Let me see how much time we got here. Oh wow. Okay, so let's go to another movie. Another movie we need to get to here is Lightyear. Lightyear is a 2022 American computer animated science fiction action adventure film produced by Walt Disney Pictures and Pixar Animation Studios and distributed by Walt Disney Studios Motion Pictures. The film is a spin-off of the Toy Story film series, but does not take place in the same fictional universe as them. Rather, it is presented as a film that some of the characters in the main Toy Story films have seen. Lightyear centers on the character Buzz Lightyear, who in this film is human and not a toy. The film was directed by Angus McLean and produced by Galen Sussman from a screenplay and story written by McLean and Jason Headley, both of whom co-wrote the latter with Matthew um, Aldrich. It stars Chris Evans as the voice of the titular character, with Kiki Palmer, Peter Shaw, Taka Watiti, Dale Soles, James Brolin, and Yuzo Aduba in supporting roles. The film follows Buzz Lightyear operating as a space ranger who, after being marooned on a hostile planet with his commander and crew, tries to find a way back home while encountering a threat to the universe's safety. Okay. So the budget for the film is $200 million. All right, so the budget of the film is $200 million. The concept of a human Buzz Lightyear who exists in a fictional universe written, hold on, yes, written, um, no, hold on, within a fictional universe was first introduced in the 2000 direct-to-video film Buzz Lightyear of Star Command: The Adventure Begins, which was then used as a pilot to the TV series Buzz Lightyear of Star Command from 2000 to 2001. Development of Lightyear began with McLean, an avid science fiction fan, pitched the idea of making a film about Buzz Lightyear at Pixar, evoking the science fiction films he grew up watching while finishing work on Finding Dory 2016. The project was officially announced in December 2020 at the Disney Investor Day meeting. Hold on. The animators were given the film a cinematic and chunky look. To design the vehicles of the film, McLean used Lego pieces to build various ships, such as the armadillo, and pitch them to the designers and artists to match the chunky feel within the film. The team had brought two sets of lenses, two cameras, and a larger sensor equivalent to 65 millimeters, which was earlier initiated by Pixar and Wall-E 2008. Development of Lightyear lasted for 5.5 years on an approximate $200 million budget. As with most Pixar animation studio films, Michael um, Giacchino scored Lightyear while Ren Kleiss served as the film's sound designer. Lightyear premiered at the El Capitan Theater in Los Angeles on June 8th, 2022, and was theatrically released in the United States on June 17th. In real 3D, 4DX, Dolby Cinema, and IMAX formats. It became the first Pixar film to be released in theaters worldwide since Onward in March 2020, and the first to include scenes specifically formatted for IMAX theaters. The film was a box office bomb, grossing $226 million worldwide against a $200 million production budget before marketing and distribution costs. But how can it be a bomb if it made $226 million? I don't get that. It received generally positive reviews from critics with praise for its animation, score, visuals, technical aspects, and entertainment value, but criticism for its screenplay. Jeez Louise, man. People are never happy with shit, man. People are never happy with anything, for that matter. Um. Okay, so streaming viewership, according to Whip Media, Lightyear was the second most watched movie in the United States across all platforms during the week of August 5th, 2022 to August 7th, 2022. According to the streaming aggregator Real Good, Lightyear was the 10th most watched program across all platforms during the week of August 12th, 2022, according to Nielsen Holdings. Lightyear was the ninth most streamed movie across all platforms during the week of August 29th, 2022 to September 4th, 2022. Lightyear was the most watched movie worldwide on Disney Plus in August 2022. It was on the number one spot on the platform for 35 days consecutively. Lightyear grossed 118.3 million dollars in the United States and Canada, and $108.1 million in other territories, for a worldwide total of $226.4 million. It was the third highest grossing animated film of 2022 in the US and the fifth worldwide. In the United States and Canada, Lightyear was projected to gross 70 to 85 million dollars from 4,255 theaters in its opening weekend, with some estimates reaching as high as 105 million dollars. However, after making just 20.7 million dollars on its first day, including 5.2 million dollars from Thursday night previews, estimates were lowered to 51 to 55 million dollars. It went on to debut to $50.6 million, finishing second behind um, holdover Jurassic World Dominion. Additionally, the film earned $34.6 million from 43 international markets, beginning its worldwide 3-day debut to $85.2 million. In its second weekend, Lightyear declined 64.1% to $18.2 million, the second worst sophomore drop for a Pixar film after Onward, 73%, which opened at the onset of the Slamdemic. Both Deadline Hollywood and Variety attributed the performance to competition from Jurassic World Dominion and Top Gun Maverick, though ultimately noted it as a disappointment given the brand strength of both Pixar and the Toy Story franchise. Los Angeles Times writer um, Fonder believed that the film was at a disadvantage, since as a spin-off film it did not have well-known Toy Story characters such as Woody. He also noted that spin-offs tend to not gross as much as the main franchise installments, and compared the film to the spin-off film Solo, a Star Wars story, and Fast and the Furious. Yes, Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. Pamela McClintock of The Hollywood Reporter wrote that in addition to competition from Jurassic World Dominion and Top Gun Maverick, the lackluster opening was attributed to brand confusion in the film's marketing. McClintock, Martha Ross of the Mercury News and the Washington Post, Sonny Bunch also questioned if the response from people over the inclusion of a lesbian couple kissing and the decision not to cast Tim Allen in the part of Buzz Lightyear was to blame for the film's underwhelming opening. Um, Other box office analysis believe family audiences might have not shown up to theaters after becoming accustomed to the availability of Pixar films at home after their three previous films, Soul, Luca, and Turning Red, were released directly to Disney Plus during the Slamdemic. Some box office analysts theorized that family audiences were reluctant to attend theaters in general due to COVID-19 concerns. Although this was disproven after Minions: The Rise of Gru opened to $107 million in the US and Canada 2 weeks later. All right, so um all right, so critical response on the review aggregator website Rotten Tomatoes. Hold on, let's do the sound effects of the money. Hold on, I forgot about that. All right, all right. Okay, on a review aggregator website, Rotten Tomatoes, 74% of 315 critics reviews are positive, with an average rating of 6.7 out of 10. The website's consensus reads, Lightyear settles for being a rather conventional origin story instead of reaching for the stars. But this gorgeously animated adventure ably accomplishes its mission of straightforward fun. It is the lowest rated film of the Toy Story franchise on Rotten Tomatoes. Metacritic, which uses a weighted average, assigned the film a score of 60 out of 100, based on 57 critics, indicating mixed or average reviews. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of A minus on an A plus to F scale, while those at Post Track gave it, hold on, yes, gave it an overall positive score of 85%, with 62% saying they would definitely recommend it. Peter Bradshaw's 4-star review on the Guardian stated this cracking origin story for Toy Story Spaceman hero is fun and clever and reminds us why we love Pixar in the first place. David Rooning of the Hollywood Reporter called it a funny spin-off with suspense and heart and cat captivatingly spirited tune take on splashy live action retro popcorn entertainment. Hold on. Emma Stefanski of Thrillist said, there's plenty in Lightyear to enjoy, and it's one of Pixar's better efforts over the last 10 years, but it ultimately feels half done. It feels like it ought to be the beginning of something, like its narrative is a prologue stretched into a feature awaiting the much more interesting second and third and fifth installments down the road. RogerEbert.com based critic Odie Henderson praised the score, who called it as one of um, Giacchino's best scores and a delectable spoof of bombastic space movie music that elevates every scene it plays under. Valerie Complex of Deadline Hollywood stated, Lightyear does not rely too much on Toy Story lore to build its world, but it would have benefited from showing some connection to that part of the franchise instead of using title cards. She further praised the technical aspects and wrote, the animation is gorgeous and hyper realistic. The art department put their all into designing this universe and its characters and robotic villains, but criticized the screenplay, saying sometimes the story becomes convoluted and drags on, almost like there was a need to pad the runtime, causing Lightyear to get into even more trouble and creating a never-ending slew and of trampling obstacles. Variety's Owen Gleiberman wrote, in quote, Lightyear in its eminently conventional and likable way is a far less audacious movie than that. For what is surely not the first time Buzz I can do anything myopic bravado has failed. Part of that may be that in the Toy Story films, he is a toy. That's part of the joke. One that Buzz is never quite in on. He thinks he's a real space ranger. So when you actually turn Buzz Lightyear into a space ranger, you enlarge him and diminish him at the same time. In contrast, BBC's Nicholas Barber wrote the story is thin, repetitive, and almost entirely dependent on the heroes being clumsy, and gave the film 2 stars. David Ehrlich of IndieWire wrote Lightyear remains firmly stuck in the past, even as it hurdles toward the future. And while screenwriters Jason Headley and Angus McLean need that push pull in order to tell a story about reconciling the lure of nostalgia with the potential for something new, it's hard for a movie to sell us on living in the moment when every scene feels like it's settling for less. Kathleen, no, Kaleem Aftab of Time Out called the film a franchise low. Pixar's meta Toy Story spin-off gets lost in space. The film has received criticism from some conservators who have argued that the film scene with a same-sex kiss is inappropriate for children, saying that Disney sexualizes them. Wow. And Kiki Palmer got a nomination for Best Animated Female Voice for Alliance of Women Film Journalists. And the rest is just pending. The rest is just pending. Um, Kiki Palmer again got a nomination for Outstanding Voice Performance for Black Reels Awards. And this is for, Alliance of Women Film Journalists. Okay. Let's see. The rest is just pending. Lightyear got a nomination for Best Animated Film, Saturn Awards, and of course Tikani Prime Forest, Lenora Esadera, Amy Allen, Alyssa Minko, Jose L. Ramos Serrano got a nomination for Outstanding Creative Environment in an Animated Feature for Visual Effects Society Awards. And Alexis Angelides, Chris Chapman, Jung Hyam Kim, Keith Kwan got a nomination for Outstanding Effects Simulations in an Animated Feature. All right, so let's see. Let me see something here. Hold on. Well, let's see, man. I'm probably going to go ahead. Let me go ahead and get to. I'm not gonna have time to do the music Kool-Aid today, but I'll probably try to do that probably tomorrow. In the next episode. I'm not gonna have time to do it today, but anyway, man, let's get to. So let's get to. Hold on a minute here. Let's get to the. Let's get to the video game portion here, man. All right, so. All right, look. All right, so we go to the video game chamber, and we are going to go to we're gonna go to the recent games that just came out actually. So let's get into it right here and right now. All right, so let's go to the video game chambers, which is for the people who are gamers and are looking forward to some new games to come out. And from there, let's get it. Come on. All right, let's do this. right. Um. All right. Let's get it. Let's get into the one particular game that just came out. I'm gonna just do one particular game review, and from there we are going to wrap up. All right. We're gonna go to where did I go to? Okay. So let's go to hold on. Um, we're gonna go to what the hell? All right, let's go to Journey to the Salvage Planet. Let's go there. All right, so your adventure in Journey to the Salvage Planet doesn't start with much promise. As a member of the fourth best company in space exploration, you arrive on a remote planet with lackluster equipment, incorrect intel, and insufficient fuel for the return trip. With so much going on, with so much going against you, it's a miracle that you can get anything accomplished. Thankfully, with a planet full of unique wildlife, fun discoveries, and plentiful resources, things aren't so bad after all. The titular savage planet you explore is ARY 26. This unassuming name hints at just how little your company thinks of the place. Much to your surprise, not only it is teeming with life, but a giant spire towers over your landing spot, indicating some form of advanced civilization. However, there's no sign of that species anywhere, so your scouting mission quickly gets a secondary goal of figuring out what happened, a mission that becomes more enticing as you learn about the planet and the creatures that came before you. The early objectives in this first person experience are centered on getting your bearings and scanning the surrounding area, which is about all your equipment allows for. However, exploration quickly proves rewarding. For example, I found a mysterious orange goo behind a waterfall, bestowing permanent health and stamina upgrades. In addition to 100 orange goo pods, you also find alien alloy as well as resources dropped by creatures and caches. Cracked walls, high ledges, and grapple points hint at secrets worth exploring with lore based discoveries like alien tablets and explorer logs that provide you with video and messages explaining what happened before your arrival. You can craft a better battery for your pistol, plus thrusters that give you a double jump, but new crafting options open as you complete side quests. I love having the option to expand the crafting tree to reach more meaningful rewards like an explosive charge shot, more powerful bombs, and even interface overlays that reveal the locations of nearby collectibles. Even if you don't want to deviate from the main mission, you still unlock handy traversal abilities like the ground pound to smash through brittle floor, or my personal favorite, a grappling hook to swing from specific points like Spider-Man. Each of these upgrades um, opens new possibilities for exploration, giving you a reason to return to areas you thought you finished. As much I enjoy discovering the very secrets, the act of reaching them isn't always fun. First person platforming is difficult to get the hang of due to your restricted field of vision, making some platforming sequences harder than they should be. Another problem is the gunplay, which is adequate at best. While your primary weapon is upgradable with faster reloads, increased damage, and a bigger battery, shooting um enemies never feels fun. Well, that sounds pretty terrible, isn't it? That sounds pretty terrible, though, isn't it? That sounds pretty terrible. I get it. I get it. That sounds pretty terrible. I get it. All right, so there's more to the story. Aiming is imprecise no matter how you tune the sensitivity in hitting moving or small targets often proves even more upsetting than the challenging platforming sequences. Oh boy. Damn, son. That sounds that sounds even more like a person who is just about to have a hard time with the gameplay. Hmm. All right. Let's continue. Um if you like a if you like to chart the planet with a friend, you can jump into an online co-op session. Players scale to the host's abilities, meaning your friend who hasn't played more than a couple of hours has access to all the late game gear you've unlocked. While the two co-op explorers aren't able to play off each other in any meaningful way, having an extra gun in encounters or an extra set of eyes to spot secrets is immensely helpful. Journey to the Salvage Planet presents you with a well-constructed world full of fun collectibles to hunt down an interesting wildlife to survey. But the way the world design encourages and rewards exploration is its biggest accomplishment. The concept explore a colorful and dangerous alien planet to uncover its mysteries. Graphics, bright colors, and cute monster design make even the most dangerous sections on the planet a delight to look at. Sound dynamic music reacts during encounters and ratchets up the tension. I regretted choosing the dog character from the start as I got sick of hearing its whimpers every time I took damage. Playability navigation is easy thanks to an intrusive waypoint system and easy to understand controls. The game isn't particularly challenging, but floaty gunplay and hit or miss platforming can make sequences harder than they should be. With fun discoveries galore, I was always excited to step back onto the surface of this uncharted world, and replay is moderately high. All right, so um, all right, let's wrap up here, man. I didn't have time to go to Musical because of the franchise that I was trying to actually review. Um, I will do that in the next episode. I do apologize for lowering of the volume because of the flying planes that was flying past my crib. Um, so let's get into a very last segment right here. Okay, our very last segment right here is called Stream Choices on the Go. This is where I inform you on. Hold on. This is where I inform you where you can listen to the episodes and stuff. So here we go right here, man. Hang on a sec. Hold on. Yes, stream choices on the go. Here we go. All right. Make sure you follow Meticulous Vibe Juice podcast if you like the review topics that was discussed today, as far as the movie franchise that we just talked about, and the spinoff. Like I said, I didn't have time to get to the. I didn't have time to get to the music Kool-Aid segment. I do apologize about that too. So yeah. Um, I'll do that next episode. So, yes, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast is on Instagram alongside with Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, my sports podcast show on there, and of course, Off the Meat Rack Chains New York podcast is also on Facebook and Instagram, as well as myself, the homie right here, G Money Stacks, aka the Greginator, is also on Instagram as well on the primary handle G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York. Turn on your notifications so you can be in the know on which episodes are going to be dropped and which day is going to be, and all that great stuff right there. And of course, I would like to tell you, if you go to the link in bio, you're gonna see the link that says Linktree/Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast, and you're going to see a list of audio streaming platforms, including the newly added streaming platform, which I will mention. Um, and if you go to the link of anchor.fm/meticulous pod, you can leave a voice message on there. That's anchor.fm/meticulous vibe juice pod/message. And speaking of Anchor, that's what we're going to start with. So Anchor, Audible, Audacity, Amazon Music, Breaker, Castbox FM, Deezer, Listen Notes, Moon FM Podcast, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podfriend, Podhound, the newly added stream platform, Podo Polo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Reason FM, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, iHeartRadio, the number one app for music, radio, and podcasts. And you don't need a debit card or a credit card to download iHeartRadio or any of the apps that I just mentioned. And of course, make sure you follow this particular platform show right here, Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast review show, alongside with Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, Sports Edition show, and Off the Meat Rack Chains New York podcast is also on iHeartRadio as well. And of course, lastly, um, make sure you grab that subscribe button for me on the YouTube channel page of Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast. Leave a like and a comment along with the episodes and the review topics, and click on the noni bell along with enabling alerts so you can be reminded of the time and and the, and the recording of the live stream episodes of each podcast on a weekly basis. Stay tuned for more video content, upcoming episodes, previous episodes, and also be sure to download these episodes. Be sure to listen, stream, watch these episodes, share the episodes, share the videos, tell a friend to another friend. Word of mouth is important, spread by spreading the word to everybody. And of course, be sure to share the link that says Linktree/Meticulous Vibe Juice Podcast alongside with the podcast show itself, with your husbands, wives, girlfriends, boyfriends, friends, people you are cool with from work, and of course, festivities, barbecues, parties, wherever you meet new people. All right. That's gonna do it, man. I'm your man, G Money Stacks, aka the Greginator. Um, Thank you very much for listening and rocking with me on episode 114, titled Toy Stories When It Comes to Cartoon Animation. And like I said, I do apologize for not getting to Music Kool-Aid because of the franchise movies of Toy Story that I had to actually go over. I will do that in the next episode. And of course, remember, the grind doesn't stop, hard work pays off. If you want something, you have to work hard and you have to earn it. New York wasn't built in a day. Follow your goals and dreams. Don't let anybody stop you. Look, look and find something that clicks to you, that makes you happy while you are on your P's and Q's, especially, especially, the type of energy that gets you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. And make sure you download these apps on iHeartRadio alongside with the Android phones, iPads, Android tablets, and of course, be sure to also download these apps onto your laptops, your Apple Mac laptops, your Dell, um, your Dell laptops with Windows, all that great stuff right there. So that's it, man. That's it for me. Um, yeah, that's really it for me. Um, I'm off this shit. I'll see y'all in the next episode. Thank you so much. Peace and one love. Stay liquid and be sure to be careful out there. I know things has been crazy lately, so be careful out there. Take care of yourselves. I hope y'all had a nice Valentine's Day weekend and everything else, and y'all looking forward to this weekend coming up. So peace out and good night, everybody.